Welcome to the Explainer. If you're managing a team, you already know the real challenge isn't just about getting things done. It's about getting them done willingly. Today, we are opening up the playbook on leadership and motivation to give you some real, actionable steps you can start using tomorrow. So, you're in charge now. And all of a sudden, it's not just about your own work anymore, is it? It's about the results of an entire team. This is the huge leap every single manager has to make. So where do you even start? That one word right there on your screen, willingly, that is everything. Look, any manager can use their title to demand that people do something. But a real leader, they inspire commitment. They make people want to work towards the team's goals. And that, right there, that's the difference that changes the entire game. All right, let's open up the playbook. Chapter 1 might not be what you expect. It doesn't actually start with analyzing your team. Nope. It starts with analyzing yourself and what you fundamentally believe about why people show up to work in the first place. This is one of the classic frameworks in management, and it's so powerful because it basically forces us to look in the mirror. On one side, you've got Theory X, this core belief that people just don't like to work and they need to be pushed. And on the other side, you've got Theory Y, the belief that people are actually self-motivated and they seek out responsibility. So be honest with yourself. Which side do you lean towards? Because that underlying assumption is going to define your entire leadership style. But here's the thing. It's not really a simple choice, is it? The reality is, great leadership isn't about just picking a theory and sticking with it. It's about finding a balance. You have to care about the tasks, of course, but you also have to care about the people. The absolute best leaders don't just pick a side. They master this art of balancing both. And this grid, it makes that whole balancing act really visual. It charts your concern for production against your concern for people. You know, you could be a task manager down in the bottom right, all about the deadline, not so much about the team. Or you could be a country club manager in the top left, everyone's best friend, but maybe deadlines get a little fuzzy. The sweet spot, the goal we're all aiming for, is that top right corner, the 9-9, team leader. They get amazing results because they've built a committed, empowered team. Okay, so if becoming a 9-9 leader is the destination, how do we get there? Well, this brings us to the second and equally crucial chapter of the playbook. You have to understand the engine that drives every great team, motivation. We've all heard this, right? But in management, it's basically gospel. You know, the most common mistake a manager can make is thinking that money is the ultimate motivator. A paycheck gets people to show up, for sure, but it doesn't buy their passion or their creativity. For that, we have to dig a little deeper. Maslow's famous pyramid really gives us the roadmap. See, those bottom levels, physiological and safety, those are mostly covered by a fair salary and a stable job. But here's the key. Once those needs are met, they kind of lose their power to motivate. Your team members then start looking higher up the pyramid. They start looking for social connection, for esteem, for recognition, and ultimately, for the chance to do work that helps them reach their absolute full potential. Let's take the real story of a performer named Gupta. His salary was great, but he left for a job at a big-name company to get more status. That's a classic climb up Maslow's pyramid to the esteem level. But the title turned out to be hollow. He didn't have any real impact. So he left again, this time for a role that gave him genuine satisfaction and the chance to really make a difference. His story shows us that what motivates a person isn't fixed. It evolves over time. Another thinker, a guy named Herzberg, he split this whole idea into two buckets. First, he identified what he called hygiene factors. These are the absolute basics: fair pay, safe working conditions, company policies that make sense. Now, getting these right doesn't actually motivate anybody, but getting them wrong, well, that is a guaranteed recipe for a miserable, dissatisfied team. These just get you to a neutral starting line. The real magic, Herzberg said, comes from the motivators. Once the hygiene stuff is handled, these are the things that create passion. This is all that good stuff at the top of Maslow's pyramid. A feeling of achievement, being recognized for great work, having real responsibility, and doing work that's actually interesting. You know, fixing the broken printer won't inspire anyone, but trusting someone to lead a huge new project, that could change their entire career. Okay, this is where we bring everything together. We've talked about leadership style, we've talked about the mechanics of motivation, and it all leads to this, the single most important distinction you need to make on your journey as a leader. This right here is the dividing line between good managers and truly great leaders. See, anyone can be successful in the short term just by using their job title, their position power. They get compliance. But an effective leader, well, they build genuine commitment. They use their personal power, the trust and respect that they've earned, to make people want to follow them. One gets a task done today, the other builds a team that can win for years to come. So let's boil all of this down into a simple, powerful playbook. What are the key actions you can take away from this explainer and actually put into practice tomorrow? Here are your 4 foundational plays. First, find your balance on that managerial grid. Always be aiming for that 9-9 spot. Second, become a motivation detective. Figure out if your people are driven by getting recognized, by having more responsibility, or by personal growth. Third, build your personal power. Be someone people want to work for, not just someone they have to. And finally, always aim to be effective. Build a team that wants to win, not one that's just following orders. Ultimately, knowledge is pretty useless without action. So as you look at this playbook, think about your own team. And don't try to change everything at once. Just ask yourself, what is the one small, specific thing you will do differently tomorrow to become a more effective leader?